Alright, so welcome back to DOREEN'S African Experiences. Yes, we're not doing a full video seeing me stand up. I'm just going to get in the video straight away. Time is of the essence. We are handling steel bars, prices, types, companies, and the general rundown of prices. So kindly enjoy. I hope you come and support. Thank you for watching DOREEN'S African Experiences, and let's get into construction. Let's get these prices down, yeah? Let's get them going. See ya. Enjoy the video. Thank you for the beautiful comments you left yesterday. I appreciate that. I'll be attaching these guys' numbers in the videos, so keep a lookout for that. I've given you location. Feel free to ask anything. I'll be quick to answer. Okay? Alright fam, so welcome back to DOREEN'S African Experiences, and our experience today is going to be steel bars and BRCs and a couple rings. So our aim today is to give you current prices and the different companies that produce steel bars in Uganda, and we are going to go slowly so that you all understand what we're doing right here. Today, just like yesterday, we're shooting from Chantal General Hardware. It's located in Chanja, along Chanja Road next to Shell petrol station, where you see KFC right there. These guys are right next to them. You can clearly spot that out there. So these guys are located right here, and their contacts are going to be included in the video, but for those who are not patient enough, those are their contacts. You can reach out to them and support. Okay, so there is a lot of action going on, and being an early morning, let me start with the different companies they have that are producing this. Jangu tugende, Jangu tugende. Jangu! Okay, so our first company in question, now there are lots of people that actually didn't know or have never understood that Uganda has multiple companies that produce steel bars, and each of these companies are selling at their own price. The difference is not too grave, but it's there. So we are going to start with, we have Yogi company, all right? That's a whole company. Then we have Pramuk company. Then we have Modern company, and then we have Steel and Tube. I believe the most common one is Steel and Tube. That's what most of us actually know, but trust me, a lot of you think you're buying Steel and Tube, but excuse me, you're not buying Steel and Tube. So we are going to start with the Yogi company, the Yogi steel bars. Yogi ya soka wali. Now remember, under steel bars we have Y10, Y12, T16 and T8. So most of you have actually never seen T8s. Let me show you what T8s look like. This is how T8s look like. So I'm going to give you prices according to companies. Now the Yogi company is selling their Y10s at 25,000 Ugandan shillings. I'm not converting to dollars. I know some of you always want me to convert to dollars, but we're not going to convert to dollars. I'm going to just be very specific. But anyway, we'll see. The dollar is at 3,600 and a couple cents in there, but round it up and do 3,700, and then you do your own math kindly. All right, so under the Yogi company, the Y10 is 25,000 Ugandan shillings. The Y12 is 36,000 Ugandan shillings. The T16s, yeah, the big boss, T16s are 66,000 Ugandan shillings. And then the T8s, those small ones we just seen there, they are 20,000 Ugandan shillings. Makes sense? Okay, so we are going to move on to a different company. Now we're going to move on to Pramuk. Pramuk has the same, actually all steel bars, all companies that produce steel bars are producing them in the same sizes, but the prices are different for each person. All right, so Pramuk is selling their white 10s. All right, but no white 10s. Sicho? Chelo von 10 aliwo. Alierinze sina gabukayo nyinza okugwirayo. Okay, so Pramuk is selling their white 10s at 28,000 Ugandan shillings, and then they are selling their white 12s at 41,000 Ugandan shillings. They are selling their T16s at 71,000 Ugandan shillings, and then they are selling their T8s at 25,000 Ugandan shillings. All right, are you able to spot the difference? Ati ogenda wa no kale tekawo webale. Okay, so are you able to spot the difference in prices? We are going to analyze those differences in prices in just a minute. All right, okay, next we are going to handle the modern company. All right, so far we've handled 3 companies. This is the third one. The third company in question is going to be Modern Steels. All right, now these guys are selling their white 10s at 25,000 Ugandan shillings. Their white 12s are 35 Ugandan shillings. That is 35,000, all right? 35,000 Ugandan shillings. And then they are selling their T16s at 65,000 Ugandan shillings. And then they are selling their T8s at 20,000 Ugandan shillings. Are we following? We're going to come back and break it down a little bit so you actually get to understand the difference in these prices that we are discussing. And then we are now at our steel and tube. Remember, all these companies are operating right here. They are making their steel bars from Uganda. Most of them are exporting, but all these are made here. These are companies here. Okay, so steel and tube is what most of you are more conversant with. It's what you know, I believe. Now, steel and tube, we are going to handle the different sizes and their different prices. Now, first of all, steel and tube produces white 10s. White 10s in steel and tube are 30,000 Ugandan shillings. And then the white 12s are 45,000 Ugandan shillings. All right? And then the T16s are 75,000 Ugandan shillings. Now, the last one is the T8s. They are 25,000 Ugandan shillings. And now we have ring wires. Ring 8, that is R8. Most of us are used to buying R6. But remember, you buy these ring wires according to the size of bars you're going to bound. All right, so if you're going to bend big steel bars, you're going to require these R8s. But if you're bending the regular steel bars, white 10 or even 16, R6 can still work, but depends on what you're building. All right, so the R8s are 13,000 Ugandan shillings right now, and I believe R6 is around 6,000 to 6,500 Ugandan shillings right now on the market. Remember, ring wires, these rings here, yeah, they use them to bound or to bind or to hold together these steel bars. So if you've dealt with a steel bender before, you know what I'm talking about. All right, okay, but have you understood the difference in prices? Yogi is selling their white 10, same price with Modern. You know, Yogi and Modern are selling their white 10s at the same price, which is 25k. That's 25,000 Ugandan shillings. And then they are Yogi and Modern, they are similar in a way. Their prices don't differ so much. All right, but I believe in this category the most expensive person is steel and tube. I don't think they are expensive, I just feel like that's their cost of production, you know. So in the category of white 10, steel and tube is actually a little bit higher. Then white 12 is also way high. The difference is like, man, that's like a whole 10,000 shillings, you know. And then their T16s are also around the same price with neither. They're still a bit high. So steel and tube costs a little bit more than the rest of the companies on the market. All right, but then Pramuk and steel and tube are actually racing each other for prices, if you actually take notice. But then I think on the market most of you are either buying Yogi or Modern, but you don't know. Yeah, but I've given you the breakdown, or rather the rundown of the different prices. Now we are going to handle BRCs. BRCs, if you're building your regular house, I don't think you need BRCs. Actually, I don't think I know you don't need BRCs. Steel bars can take care of the job for you. This is what BRCs look like. All right, they also bind, but what happens are these things are sold in gauges. All right, they are sold in gauges and different meters. So the bigger the gauge, the more price. The wider, rather, the more meters, the more price. So now BRCs, I'm going to give you a rundown of prices. So under BRCs we have A66. A66, this is what they're called. So A66 30 meters. The 30 meters in A66 are going for 250,000 Ugandan shillings. And then A98 48 meters is going for 700,000 Ugandan shillings. Then A142 48 meters going for 880,000 Ugandan shillings. And then we have A142 original with the same meters, which is 48. It's going for 950,000 Ugandan shillings. And then lastly but not least, we have A98 30 meters, which is going for 400,000 Ugandan shillings. Now we've handled the prices of steel bars, the companies, the different companies that's producing them, and we've also handled the prices of the different BRCs. I believe you should be satisfied with that concept right now. So I'm going to throw in a little bit of mesh for you. So we have mesh. Now for those who are building toilets, you need this mesh. This mesh is in 10 gauges and 12 gauges, right? That's how it looks. Each of these is going for 25,000 Ugandan shillings, whether it's 10 gauges or 12 gauges. Let me throw in this as well. You have these speds. Speds, I've given you prices of speds before, and these are 15,000 Ugandan shillings. Expanded wire meshes. Sabo. Hi. Bando ya meka. Bando. Erimu pieces meka. 8. Hey. Expanded. No company chi. Simba. China Red Tiger. Hey. So expanded wire meshes are going for 35,000 shillings a bundle for Simba company. You see that? I actually didn't intend to throw that in, but here we are. And then you have these tanks. These tanks are going for 70,000 Ugandan shillings. Now we agreed we're not making these videos any longer these days, so I'll be coming here and exhausting one thing at a time, and then we'll be going on with our lives one thing at a time. We exhaust the concept, we know exactly what we're dealing with, because I remember previously I didn't give you the different types of these steel bars, the different companies, but now I believe I've delivered on that. You know the different companies producing these, you know their different prices separately, and you also know that now Uganda actually produces these. Now thank you for watching DOREEN'S African Experiences. Kindly subscribe, like and share, and see you in the next video. I love you guys.